Here's how I care for my parents even when I don't live with them. Dad works all day, both at home and at work. Mom's unable to do much or can only help in rare occasions due to her health problems. So one day I spoke to my dad over the phone about getting a part-time helper. The catalyst being Mom's itchy skin affecting her sleep, mood, and overall health. She was telling me to buy Dead Sea salt to help with her itch. I got this product years ago to moisturize and treat our sensitive skin. It was very effective then, but I no longer needed it since my eczema gradually got better. Mom has always been complaining about the bed sheets not being changed for months in a row, and I knew something had to be done. Long story short, Dad was eventually convinced, and on the day the helper came, my parents prepared chores for the helper to do, and Dad sent me pictures of the chores being done around the house. No one prepared me for how incredibly happy I was spending this sum of money for my parents. My parents also gave the helper a bottle of cookies before she left, which I thought was sweet of them. I've since booked one more session and plan to do this on a recurring basis. Remember how I mentioned I bought A4 papers on video day 23? How is this relevant to caring and retiring my parents as an only child? Back then, I did up the insurance nomination paperwork for all three of us, parents signed, and I thought everything was good to go. But I did it in soft copy and the agent told me to redo everything in hard copy and it required wet inked signature. I printed our insurer's revocable nomination forms, and because I didn't have enough blank papers, this task was half done. Turns out technology is now more advanced to the point we don't need to do all our insurance nomination the traditional hard copy way. Now that I'm revisiting it, some nominations can be done via the insurer's mobile application. Quite impressive considering it only took months. So that's what I got up to today. All policies with death coverage can be nominated. So in my family's case, there'd be personal accident, term, and dependents protection scheme. I'd share the other areas you need to look into in my next video. Don't forget to do your nomination for your insurance policies, is what I said in my previous video, but nomination is not for insurance alone. I help clients with their wills and LPAs as an estate planner, but I'm also a child who cares a lot for my parents. That's why I make sure I manage such matters for my family. And for Singaporeans, one aspect of planning is looking at our CPF. And yes, we're talking about CPF nomination. Pause or take a screenshot to understand more about CPF nomination. While I've done CPF nominations for my entire family, it's important to note that CPF investments are not covered under CPF nomination. So they form part of your estate and distributed according to your will or the ISA. I've touched on wills and LPAs in days 2 and 3, so feel free to check those videos out or comment more if you need more videos on those topics. I've covered sleeping aids and products I've gotten for my mom with insomnia. While they've helped, she told me about this one night she couldn't fall asleep. We had a 1-hour conversation and called me Dr. Junan because these tips are gonna help on those days you're feeling awake. I checked on mom's sleep-wake time and told her to keep it as consistent as possible, ideally getting 7 to 9 hours per night. I've confirmed with my TCM physician and oversleeping can be bad for your body. I planned the exact timing mom should take a stroll downstairs because she has a million concerns like sunlight, bicycles, viruses. I told her at this specific time, go down for 5 minutes, wear a mask, be aware of your surroundings, simple as that. She told me she needed to be mentally prepared so she can't do it tonight. To that, I told her how I've come to a recent realization that in life, you can't be fully prepared every time. You just have to do it and take that leap. If she knows she's still energetic near bedtime, she can still stay up and do her things until she feels tired, as long as she doesn't touch her phone because it's just gonna keep her glued. Try these for yourself and I'd share more sleeping hacks in my next video. My mom struggles with sleepless nights from time to time, and knowing how scary being up alone can be, I'm determined to help my mom. Here's the rest of what I shared with mom in our 1-hour conversation. 1. Avoid taking naps in the day if you know you struggle to fall asleep at night. 2. Prepare a book by your bedside so you can read until you're tired to unwind or as part of your bedtime routine. 3. Use your bed only for sleep, not work, not chilling with your phone, so your body links hitting the bed with sleeping. 4. I personally meditate for sleep, and those 20-minute guided ones work very well for me. I haven't introduced mom to this, but she told me she sometimes opens some boring YouTube videos and plays it in the background so she can listen to it and fall asleep. Growing up, I've taken mom's insomnia problem lightly as she's been frequently telling me how she didn't catch a wink or slept very few hours, but with more resources, products, and advice readily available, there's no excuse for me not to try, and however long it takes, I'd give my best shot. Loneliness is bigger than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Hi and welcome to day 69 of retiring and caring for my parents as an only child. I've chanced upon one too many articles and talks sharing how meaningful connections with people aid in health and longevity. An interview with Bruce Daisley, an author who writes about fixing workplace culture, has revealed that loneliness is bigger than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. People who have groups might survive major illnesses better than those who are in isolation. Obviously, I want my parents to be healthy and live till a ripe old old age. So the goal is to expand my parents' social circle because I probably have been their only social circle. Dad is an educator, so he has way more social interaction, be it with his co-workers or pupils. Mom, on the other hand, is isolated from the world as she spends 24 hours, 7 days a week at home. She's not bedridden or wheelchair bound, but she does struggle with a host of mental conditions. I shared my concerns with a social worker who then introduced a befriender service with a mental health focus. The befrienders are trained to support people dealing with mental health challenges and their caregivers. I've been looking at engaging befrienders so my parents can get the connection and support they need, but didn't know how to introduce them to mom. Before you think this story's gonna end in a happily ever after, I'd have to burst your bubble here. My social worker had a chat with my mom to assess her situation, and as expected, the observation is that she's withdrawn and closed off. Mom also constantly uses being introverted as a reason to stay in her comfort zone. Although I was disappointed she couldn't get to know more people, I respected her wishes, and the plan was to connect only my dad with the befrienders. In this way, they can support him and give useful suggestions whenever, which could help him and mom indirectly. Hi and welcome to day 70 of retiring and caring for my parents as an only child. It can be conflicting as a child to older parents as to whether you should be doing things for them or letting them figure it out and do it themselves, especially when you know they're experiencing challenges with their vision and other issues that crop up in old age. The learning curve can be steep sometimes. So for tech matters, I'd tell my parents to explore but would end up helping them instead. I was on the phone with my uncle previously and he pointed out how I'm doing things for them as if my parents are in their 70s and 80s, totally incapable of doing things for themselves, and I should let go. Let them suffer a bit. Because he's older than them and he considers my parents still young and capable, he said they should do things for themselves like buying their own meals. My concern is dad, who's having to take care of both work and home, and I don't want to overload him. Hence the weekday meal deliveries where I handle everything from ordering, paying to choosing the meals. But whenever I can, I'd keep in mind to teach my parents how to fish instead of fish for them. Like teaching my dad how to use e-wallets and make payments digitally. When I teach them how to fish, it would reduce instances of them waiting on me to help them with this and that. More of my thoughts are linked here in another video, but what's your take? Do you handle most of your parents' affairs or only some are outsourced to you? Let me know in the comments.